Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lesson 11 on if-else statements. So we are continuing on with our introduction to control structures, where now instead of just telling Carol a set series of directions, first do this, then do this, then do this, we're now having her react to the world around her. So as in the video that you just watched from CodeHS, an if statement, which we worked with last week, only gives us one set of conditions and pieces to work with. So, for example, if the front is clear, so here's my if statement, here's my condition, then I will have her move twice. Okay. Now, this will only work if the front is clear. So let's go ahead and run that. And she worked just fine. Now, let's say I'm going to add a world that she has to deal with, and I'm going to add a wall in her way. So let me remove this extra one right here. I'm going to save it. I'm going to go back to the program. So in my original world, this still works. Okay. But in my my self-created one, obviously no code does anything here. So this is a limitation of an if statement. After the if statement fails, nothing continues on. She doesn't react or respond to anything. So this is where we enter into if else statements. So same thing in control flow, you're going to find this if and then else. Now, if still checks the same condition, okay? So if front is clear, I'm going to have her move too, just like I did for the original world, okay? And that's going to work just fine. Now, else, let's say for my second world, that is not true. I'm going to have her turn left, move forward, turn right, move forward, turn right again, move, and then turn left, and then she can move. Okay, so I have a whole big block to get her to the exact same location. Okay, so she ran into that wall and then she had to turn to get to the same spot. So the if else statements works like this. If this first section is clear, or if this first piece works, then the first set of statements are the ones that run. If this is not true, these statements don't run. Okay, these are actually entirely skipped over in the program, and only this second section is run. So if it works, this runs. If it doesn't, this runs. So that's something really important to recognize with if else statements is not every line of code that you put in will always run. It will only run if it is in a certain set of conditions. So watch, if I go back to this original world, when I click run, only these two sections of code will be highlighted. Right there. When I run this one, it'll completely skip over these. Okay? So as you are building your if-else statements, try to remember that as you go in. So for your if-else statements, here are your example codes. This is the exact one that he used in the video. Here's your start function. Everything should go in a start function. She's going to move first. If it's clear, then she's going to move again. Otherwise, she's going to turn left. Now, as you saw in mine, I added a little extra, but she works right around that. Okay, and there's only one world for you to work with here. In the opposite day, this one's a little bit more complex. So you're going to see I have two functions. I have a function check ball. If there is a ball there, or if there isn't a ball there, she's going to place one. If there is, she's going to take it. So if it's missing, she's going to place it. If it's there, it's going to be gone. And then we have a for loop up here in my start that's going to run that 3 times. So she's going to move, check for a ball, move, check for a ball, move, check for a ball. So let's go ahead and run this, see what it looks like. So she runs the check ball, places it, runs it again, picks it up, runs it again, picks it up, runs it one last time, and is going to place it. Okay, so at the beginning, we had 2 balls right here and here, and these 2 spots were empty. Now it is opposite. Okay, so let's take a look at your first program. for if-else statements. For this one, you're going to have multiple worlds. The first one is really simple. If she is facing south, then you need to write a set of code to get her to face east. If she is facing west, you need to write a different set of code to get her to face east. So your start function is already built for you. Okay, you're going to go to control flow, get an if else. Now, just be aware there is if else and there is if else, if else. This is a little bit more advanced. We're not going to get into that right now. Make sure you just grab the if else. Okay, you're still going to be using your conditions. So if facing east or something, you're going to go ahead and take care of that. If facing south, and then you'll set up other conditions. Okay, so be aware you have a facing south world and a facing west world. Okay, and then for your final exercise, you have a right square versus a left square. So again, you're going to have two worlds. In the first world, she's going to be facing east, and you can only use a certain kind of turn to get her to place the tennis balls. In the second world, she's facing north, and you can only use a certain kind of turn for those tennis balls. So make sure you read that assignment carefully. Same thing, you're going to use your if-else statement to get this to work. Okay? Make sure you check for your conditions. Look at the directions carefully. It will make sure it tells you. So if facing north, for example, that's one of your conditions. If facing east is going to be another condition. So you might have to be working with those two conditions. If you need anything additional, if you are struggling with this, please let me know as soon as you can so that I can touch base with you guys so you can move forward. Have fun.